A very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in this session. I'm Shaista Khan from Ameyo and will be your host for today's webinar. So today's session is going to be quite interesting for all of us, as today you will get the mantra of converting opportunities into revenue. We all know that gone are the days of competing on price and product alone. And today in digital world, customers have become more powerful than ever before. They have multiple choices to buy from, to invest into. But now the question is still in this fierce competition, why some brands are earning huge profits? Are they providing some extraordinary products or services, or are you missing on something? That's what we will discuss today. So moving on to the agenda of the webinar, we'll talk about what are the customer expectations, why context has become so important in customer support, role of call center in customer support management, and how Ameyo and Freshdesk can together build a seamless customer experience. Okay, but before we start the webinar, actually few instructions. Those of you who have any question, please do keep them ready in question panel and we will take them up once the presentations are over. So stay tuned for that. So moving on to our speakers. To take us through this webinar, we have two speakers. We have Gaurav Singh from Ameyo and we have Ashik Basha from Freshdesk. I would request both the speakers to share a few lines about themselves before we start presenting our webinar. Now over to you, Gaurav.
Thank you, Shaista. Thanks for the introduction. Hi, guys. First of all, I'm really excited doing this webinar with Ashik, product marketing specialist from Freshdesk. A little bit of me. I am a senior manager in product marketing at Ameyo. I handle sides of demand generation from an inbound marketing perspective and building in the messaging, right messaging for the products or the services that Ameyo provides. Over to you, Ashik.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks, Shaista. And good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world. And a little bit about me. I am a product marketing specialist. So my role in Freshdesk at Freshworks would be working closely with the product development teams to get the features, the products released and to the customers with really good messaging and stories so that we strive in building world-class products and we want to get the message out to the world, to our customers, to companies. So this is predominantly a little about me. And yes, over to you, Gaurav.
Okay, so Gaurav, so Ashik, I think we'll start off with you taking the lead and then I'll just jump in.
Sure. So, so apparently today we are going to discuss about how to create stellar customer experiences in support by driving context, and apparently the importance of context and how it helps companies deliver stellar support experiences. So we're going to start off with the customer expectations today. So gone are the days where we pick up a phone to really call someone if we have an issue to be sorted. Because back in those days, there were no emails or the first option that comes to our mind is obviously calling the support or the organization. And we used to be limited to calling them only during their business hours. Maybe the support organization works from say 9 to 5 or 10 to 10. So we are allowed to call them, or we would be able to reach support centers during these business hours. By any chance, if we don't, then we'll have to wait till the next day when their business hours open up, where we would be able to talk to real agents. So those were the days, those days are behind us. So today the customer, with the proliferation of many channels, so we have emails, calls, chats, social media and whatnot. So our customers are everywhere. Any experience, be it good or bad, is amplified when a customer posts a tweet or shares a story on social media. So companies are really feeling that they need to open up all the channels there. So today's customer is omnipresent. He's available on emails, chats, calls, social media. Second expectation would be since they're anywhere, they need engagement anywhere, wherever they are, be it on social media, be it on their website, and they need faster resolutions. They need instant answers and the company to instantly address their queries. And when they call, they wouldn't want to put on a long queue or a long waiting time to reach the right agent. And they also want to reach the right agents with no or minimal reassignments, because how many times have we got on a support call where we are put on hold for more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even longer, whereas the resolution that the agent would be giving, that would be just, your issue would be actually resolved by an agent by 2 minutes. That is only if you reach the right agent, but then the waiting time is more painful when customers reach the call centers these days. And the final and the most important customer expectation today is that customers, if I am a customer to say an e-commerce site and I'm a regular customer, I want the agent on the other end to know my history, that I am a regular customer, and every time what keeps me coming back to them, that context should be known by the agent from the history of purchases and how the amount of preference I give to them being a loyal customer. So loyalty has to be addressed and known by the agents, which customers expect today. You have anything to add?
Actually, I just want to jump in.
Yeah,
I just want to jump in. Can we move to the previous slide? Things on my mind. So adding on to what just Ashik mentioned about customer expectations today, as rightly pointed out, there are different media available for the customer today. And for each product and each service out there are a lot of companies who are fighting it out to win that customer share every day, right? So every company is building into the product, getting into the resources, building the right product or the service. But when it comes to serving their customer, this is where the differentiation will stand out. Like what kind of service you're providing to your customer. And I'm stressing on every touch point, because whatever be a touch point, if some things go wrong, they have a broader impact today than a good experience. People want a very beautiful, I would say, an awesome experience with your brand. But at the same time, even if some touch point, like Ashik pointed out, if you have him or her waiting, or maybe you didn't reach out on time, this is going to break those journeys and break the trust on those brands. So we'll build up on this. So Ashik, over to you on the next slide.
I totally second what Gaurav said, because just imagine some of the best support experiences that you've got. So I think the brands like huge brands like Netflix or Google or Flipkart or Amazon, they would be ringing in our heads when we think about stellar support experiences, where the interaction between the customer and the agent is minimal, so minimal that the customer is happy and gets the issue resolved, sometimes even without getting in touch with the customer. So yes, that is something that other companies, that is the prime differentiator they have from the other smaller or growing companies. So today, in spite of having best providing, when you're providing a feature or product or a service, the features and the value that you add to a business are secondary. And the most important part here would be the experience, what you deliver to your customer. That is something that keeps them coming back. So I would like to stress again what Gaurav said, that experience is indeed one of the most important and crucial differentiators in today's market to stand out. amongst the crowd. So and coming back, so here we have the omni-channel customer trying to reach out to a company on multiple channels. So companies, they do understand that today with the proliferation of channels, the customers are everywhere, and they also would want to address them or hear their customers out wherever they are. So they started having they started opening up multiple channels to support, hoping to provide a great experience for their customers. So they have started adapting the multi-channel strategy of offering customer support on multiple channels. They opened up emails is something that has been existing for a while, and the new additions would be live chat and other social channels. But end of the day, having set up a multi-channel strategies, companies are still feeling that their experience has not improved, or they are still facing challenges with the new multi-channel strategy that they have adapted. So some of the challenges are some things like they have different tools or different disconnected tools, I would put in that way, to manage emails, calls, chat, social media. So there is a dedicated email help desk to manage all the email tickets, and there is a call center software, separate call center software to manage calls, and there is a separate chat tool and different bunch of agents in the support center answering live chats. So here the problem with disconnected or not so closely integrated tools are the customer experiences are inconsistent and broken. The experience that a customer gets on an email or a live chat may not be the same, because the agents are siloed, the channels are siloed, and the agents are trained in different things, and the customer feels that as well. This, on the longer run, this impacts the brand reputation and affects your customer or loyalty on the long run. And we also have an industry stat saying 74% of the companies who have adopted multi-channel to support customers. Yeah, the good thing is 74 companies have adopted multi-channel strategy, but then 61% of the customers feel the experience has not improved. That's basically because of inconsistent experiences caused by siloed tools or not so closely integrated systems. So here,
yeah, I think
go on.
Yeah, go on, Ashik. So I just wanted to add here that we just talked about how customer expectations today have risen to a very high level, right? But still people, I mean, the businesses or the companies are not able to deliver, and which Ashish rightly talked about in terms of the siloed channel of communications we have. Although we have different channels when we are serving customers, but they are working independently. The journey experiences for these customers themselves is very broken in place, because a customer might not be receiving a previous email that was sent by a customer, so he might be, asking a different question, or maybe he doesn't have the full visibility. Therefore, whatever visibility he has from one channel, he is able to guide the interaction from that perspective. So this is definitely going to hurt the end customer, right? And finally, in the longer run, if you have to compete with the bigger brands or the best in your industry or the best competitors that you have, this will definitely affect your brand reputation and customer loyalty. So you have to be there with every channel and with every touch point. That is where companies today are feeling the pinch. They're not able to live up to customers' expectations today.
Yeah, I agree there. I agree there, Gaurav. So I'm just going to tell you a small incident that happened with me. So there was a company, or I was doing a purchase, and I placed the wrong order. So I had raised the issue on the app, and I've also sent them an email with no response. So I was really, this was something that I need to sort it out really quick. And the obvious choice when my requests are not responded on the app and also the emails haven't been responded, the natural thing any customer would do is I picked up the phone, I Googled or found out the support center's contact number, and I dialed to their support. And it took me some 10 to 15 minutes. I had to go through IVR, press 1, press 2, your registered mobile number. Yes, I did all that for like 10 minutes. And I was finally in the last IVR, okay, press 9 so that we connect you to the live support representative. I was so glad because I was already 8-9 minutes into the call, and I clicked 9, and it took me another 6-7 minutes to reach an agent. Until then, all I was hearing was, your call is important to us, and please stay on, our customer representatives are busy. So I think like many of us would have gone through the same case pretty much every now and then. So after like 15 minutes or 16 minutes into the call, I get in touch with the live support agent. And the support agent asked me for my registered mobile number from which I was calling in, which I told, and he was asking for my email ID for verification. And the moment I explained my issue, that okay, I placed the wrong order and my payment has been deducted, I need the refund so that I can place the order again. So he said, okay, thank you for telling us your query. I'd really like to help, but meanwhile I would want to reassign this call to one of our support person in the refunds team. So yes, I get put on hold again even before I utter a word. So that call, I'm on hold for the next 2-3 minutes again, and one agent comes online, and I have to start again from saying my registered mobile number, my registered email ID. Again, I have to mention this again, folks, that I was calling this company from my registered mobile number. The call that I'm talking on is from the registered mobile number, which I had to repeat twice to 2 agents, and I have to explain the order number, the issue, and then he says it will take 4 to 5 days for me to get this sorted, and they will send me a mail. And 4-5 days later, again I called, and the same thing happens. It was apparently the 7th day when this was sorted. So this is something I really think that this would be something that most of us as customers forget about, we having our own contact center and all that. When we being the customers, when we really think how companies can improve, or being on the other end makes us realize so many things. What are the things in customer support that we can do? So can we move to the next slide, Gaurav?
Yes,
so apparently, so here we are talking about multiple channels. So in this small story that I told you, there was the mobile application. Then I wrote them an email, and then I connected them through call. Yet I had to repeat my phone number, repeat my order number, repeat my query. I mean, everything could have been avoided. When companies are offering multiple channels, they still haven't figured out. And this company I'm talking about, I don't want to mention the name, but they really have a good reputation as a brand. And it was really surprising for me to go through so many steps or reach out to so many agents to repeat myself for getting this simple query resolved. So what exactly goes wrong here? So there are like many channels that companies have opened to support customers, but yes, here's the missing block is context. Just imagine if the company or the agent on the other end had the context, then while I was calling him, he would have just picked up my customer information, and he would have known that I had raised the request from the application and the email while he was on call. He could have just pulled up that information and just said, Mr. Ashik, yeah, sorry about the delay in response. Is this the issue that you're trying to reach us for? So how better would that experience be? Next slide, please. So here, the biggest elephant in the room here is context. And like the statistics say, 76% of the customers expect agent to know their history, but only 31% of customers feel that agents have the right context. There's nothing to blame an agent here because they are doing what they are given. So here the problem is unintegrated systems or not so closely integrated systems that does not give agent the transparency or on the customer information or the history. And we have all faced the situation where you call a company about a problem and your problem resolution is promised within a few hours. And yes, this eventually customers are tired of repeating themselves on calls as they're routed to different agents. So here, the problem solver here is context. As far as agents have context of a customer during an interaction about what the customer is, who the customer is, and what is the things that they have reached out for before, what is the purchase that they've done before, and all that comes pretty vital when the agent is on call with the customer. Because when you give that impression that yes, this agent remembers the customer, that agents remember customers, and customers also feel really valued when agents are proactive in their responses, because it would create a seamless experience for a customer, and also as an agent, it makes the entire organization look good, because at that point, the customer is not talking to a support agent, but is talking to your organization. So,
right. So Ashik, I would just want to add a few things here in terms of customer service examples that is faced. Like all of us attendee, we face in real life, and I believe all the people strongly agree that most of the time it's not that, but it's that assurance that, hey Gaurav, we have received the request and we're working on it. We'll probably update you in 3 days, right? You're giving that assurance to the customer that yes, he's been heard. We'll get back to you. Most often than not, what we say is there's a one-way communication going on from a customer's end and no reply. It's the story that just Ashik mentioned. I believe all of us will be connecting with that story, right? And as Ashik mentioned, it was some of a brand, no names, but it was a big brand. So what I want to tell you is that it's not only the smaller brands, but all the bigger brands are not able to this puzzle, right? And with this webinar, we want to ensure that you understand the importance of context and how smaller things of personalization and smaller things of, timely responses, not even resolutions, but timely responses will go a long way. And we'll talk about how do you build a tech stack, or how do you build, or how do you use systems in your customer support or service process. This problem doesn't happen with your business processes, right? So moving on to one.
Yes,
Can we have the slide changed?
Yeah. So here, like I said, the importance of context. So I've just put them into simple words here. The context in customer support, or when you take a larger picture of customer experience, it ensures continuity of the customer experience. By this, I mean that your experience is seamless across channels, because just imagine when I have tweeted about something and I call the customer support, the customer agent already has the information that I had tweeted about the company, or I have reached them out through live chat. Just imagine, instead of the customer repeating themselves, the agent has the context of why the customer is calling with all the previous history of interactions there. So it ensures the continuity is there in customer experience. And since the agents already have all the context in one place, they're able to respond faster. And yes, like I mentioned, it reduces the number of times customer repeat themselves. So the first experience that I mentioned when I was reaching out to support for a refund, I literally my call was transferred to 3 agents or 2 to 3 agents, where I had to, every time I reach a new agent, I had to repeat the customer information of my registered mobile number, the order ID, because this is really such a poor experience from a customer standpoint. So more delightful experiences is something that context brings. So even instead of me repeating the question or repeating my customer information to the agent, how about the customer picking up my customer information and asking me instead, is this why you're calling, sir? So things would be much more seamless, and I wouldn't have wasted 20 minutes on the call. And another thing that we need to talk about is call routing, which we will get back to in the following slides. So end of it, context improves experiences and creates experiences that leads to more cross-sell opportunities, and better experience holistically means better customer retention. And there is also a stat which says around 81% of customers leave a brand that they were loyal with after a single bad experience. So with every bad experience, companies are losing out on customers. There is a high chance that a company loses out a customer with just one bad experience. And what gets worse, they rant about it in social media, which really puts a dent on the company's reputation. So yeah, context ensures the agents are equipped enough and empowered to provide a seamless experience that in turn creates better experiences for customer retention and cross-sell and whatnot.
And even if you look at the other way, if the agents have the right context in place, right, they won't have more number of calls or more number of interactions, because the queries will take lesser number of interactions. Lesser number of interactions for lesser number of queries means you have to invest lesser amount in your customer support processes. So even from that perspective, from a purely ROI perspective, a context will help you lower down your costs, the whole customer support or service cost. And also, there's an important stat which I don't remember where it was quoted, but I saw this somewhere, that the amount that you spend on retaining a customer is way less than acquiring a new customer. So as Ashik pointed out, in terms of maintaining that brand loyalty and retaining that customer, that is definitely going to add a lifetime of value to you as a business.
Absolutely, Gaurav. Absolutely. So moving on to channels, since we've talked about how important context is, we are going to talk about contextual and context-driven call center. So why call center? Why context is so important in call center is something this slide clearly explains. Gaurav, you want to talk about how prominent the voice channels are preferred by customers here?
Yeah. So I think this is a stat. I think this is the survey that Freshdesk ran for different geographies that they are active in. And I'll talk about the India stat per se, because the audience is more from the Indian diaspora. So we talked about having different channels where customers are active today. So this stat talks about how voice, email, live chat, social video, and self-service. Although my understanding was more that self-service picking up, but in terms of surveys, you can see that still people want to have that personal connect. They want to have a human responding to them even today on the ground. And I believe a lot of the business users in the attendees would agree that still in India per se, whenever you talk about setting up that base of customer service and customer support, you need to have a voice-based customer support first, and then you start adding on to new channels of email, live chat, social media, self-service. But at the same time, I also want to press on the context part of it. Like, although you're saying, okay, voice is the one which is leading channel in terms of customer service today, and emails, live chat, and then social and other digital channels are picking up. But still, context is one thing that is going to bind them. So you can't do away with siloed channels anymore, right? So I'll just talk more on the lines of how you build on voice to a context-driven call center solution. Shaista, can we move on to the next slide, please?
Yes.
Okay. So I will be talking mostly on the lines of a context-driven call center from a voice per se, and I would like Ashik to join in when we're talking about the other channels that come in for supporting customer service. So as I mentioned, voice is the one that is leading the man today in terms of customer service today. So what is the problem that we have seen with front office and back office agents? So to the audience who don't know about this, I just wanted to tell you some, clear out the understanding in terms of what front office and back office means. So front office agents are the agents who are the ones who are talking to our customers, right? Let's say, let's take an example of a food delivery app, right? A food delivery app, you start chatting. This is a chat example, but I think this one might not be a great example, but maybe an e-commerce application, right? And you're calling them. So as soon as somebody receives that call, so that is the front office agent who's receiving that call and having this information or having this interaction with you about your problem. Now, let's say there was a refund problem or some a delivery problem. So then you raise a ticket for it, right? As soon as you raise a ticket for it, it goes into your ticketing management system. And there is a back office agent which is working on that ticket. So this is the differentiation between a front office, the customer service guy, and the back office is the support guy. So from a voice piece, what I have seen that most of them not, I've seen businesses, agents in terms of front office and back office not being in sync, right? So that is the first problem that a context-driven call center from a voice perspective solves, where if it's clearly imbibed with your customer support system, the visibility of its interaction will be available. The front office agents call activity data or call logs, call recording activity data will be visible to the back office agent as well, so that he has more clarity, more context. He doesn't have to call the customer again, and he starts on working on the ticket as soon as possible. So this goes a long way. It definitely helps with the average time it takes to resolve that ticket, right? And even the average time it takes to respond to that ticket, right? Second of all, it is when you have a voice call center which is deeply integrated with the support system and the CRM system, so that you can have personalized communication in terms of as soon as I receive a query, I know this is a customer, so like I know he's Gaurav, he's a customer, so I will start with an agent can start with, hey Gaurav, how can I help you today, right? The small greeting, but it adds up to the personalized flavor to the conversation. Second is single view that it provides to the agent. Like from a voice perspective, as I've told, I think from other channels perspective, I want Ashik to add some points on these single view customer problems that we solved.
Yeah, sure. So here you may ask why the call center has to be deeply integrated with the help desk. So imagine if your teams are siloed, if your teams sit separately using different tools, so they wouldn't have the context or an idea of the previous customer interaction. So that exactly is the reason why we are talking about the call center has to be deeply integrated with the help desk. And this is to provide a personalized, continuous, unique, and omnichannel customer experiences. Like we mentioned earlier, having teams siloed and channels siloed leads to inconsistent experiences to customers across channels. The same, if I'm getting a good experience from a company on chat, I'm not pretty certain if I'll be able to get the same experience on email or on call. Since the teams are different, the tools are different and the experiences are indeed different. So the context-driven call center will enable agents to have a complete view of customers and which point they are in their customer journey itself. And we also have an industry study that says 79% of customer service teams agree that a shared single view of customer empowers agents to provide consistency and continuity in every customer interaction. Meaning, with the amount of customer right information, because we all companies have enormous amount of information with the customer, but the right set of information at the right time provided in the right way during the right interaction for an agent will help them deliver a stellar customer experience. And 76% agree that it empowers interdepartmental collaboration every time they interact with a customer. So with siloed tools, apparently an agent needs to get up from his desk, go to the next team, find out which agent is talking to the same customer, get the context, come back. So these manual interferences will be eliminated if the call center is context driven with a tight integration with your help desk. We'll move to the next slide. Yeah. So here we're talking about what is siloed customer support technology setup looks like. So Gaurav, do you want to add?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Ashik. So to give you a real flavor of things, how a normal or a regular customer support tech stack looks like. So everybody, let's start off for a smaller company, right? You're a small company, you're starting to grow your business, and you see there are a lot of calls coming in. Maybe you see, early you were able to manage this through your PBX system, and slowly you started to grow. A lot of customer support requests started coming in, customer queries started coming in. So, okay, I'll probably get a small call center in place, right? So then you start off with a call center. Then you said, okay, I also need a ticketing system also there. And you also have a CRM in place because you have you start with Excel and then you finally turned on to a CRM system, Zoho, Salesforce, or your own homegrown CRM, any case. So you started off with a small CRM, small call center software, and then a help desk ticket to get hold of your tickets. So traditionally, help desk systems have been email driven. They've been like email help desk systems. And gradually, as technology progress, industry progress, systems started adding more channels. Voice was always a standalone channel from the earlier time, and slowly we're moving towards the integration and solving the problems of context. But if you typically look at the tech stack today, every business will have a call center capability. A good business is supporting a good amount of customers will have a call center in place, a CRM or ERP system in place. For example, if you're a food ordering app, maybe you'll have an order management system, or maybe even e-commerce, you'll probably be having a Shopify system. So those kind of the main system which stores all your customer details, the CRM kind of. And then with the growing times, with the social media leaving its mark towards this millennium generation today, more and more people are getting active in these systems, and they want to raise the query directly from there. So you start off as adding tech stack one by one, and most of the decisions, in my experience, comes from price points and how the business is doing, and not a very long standing vision that they have for the business to go. But it starts up adding smaller problem that you are in the process to solve, and pricing takes a big part of it, and what you end up with is having separate systems that you end up getting integrations with, so that each one of them can work in sync or work closely, and your agents have a better view. But most often than not, what we have seen is, as these systems are in silos, you face challenges of integrations. You face challenges of broken customer journeys, right? Even the cost of operations for maintaining different tech stacks grows at a very high rate. And finally, from a management perspective, or let's say if it's a small company, from a founder's perspective, reporting will always be a challenge. You will not have data in one place. You'll probably be using imports and exports, getting that data into Excel, Maybe you have a BI tool in place and you're trying to make sense of the data. But the point I'm trying to say is going to be hard, right? You will not be doing what you're supposed to doing, and there'll be a lot of manual tasks that will hinder your process, that will hinder your customer service, and this is definitely going to impact. This is definitely going to have an impact on your customers and on your brand. So what do we do? So here, after this, we want to talk about how Ameyo and Freshdesk comes in and how the tech stack improves and how it's going to help you build that or meet that customer expectation and preserve that context for your agents to have a qualified conversation, more qualified and personalized conversation. So moving on to the next slide. Okay. So this is what I would say a more is like a good customer support stack or a good service stack or an advanced, very advanced stack that which I showed in the last slide will look like. So here, when you use Ameyo's call center software with Freshdesk, and obviously we'll having a CRM or ERP system in place. So as Ameyo system sits in and is deeply integrated with Freshdesk system, so it solves a lot of integration challenges that you would be facing, a lot of multi-channel reporting challenges that you will be facing. Context preservations will not be a problem because everything will be available in the Freshdesk system itself. So whether it be your front office agent or your back office agent, he will be logging into Freshdesk and he'll be able to access Ameyo from there. And obviously there are other digital media channels that Freshdesk supports, from social, email, chat to other social media messengers. So everything will be logged in one activity view. And which we talked about single view of customer, right? You will have the right CRM, you'll have the right support metrics configured, you'll have the right call activity or different channel activity data logged into the Freshdesk window. So in one view, you'll have a call center that you can access easily. You don't have to open multiple tabs for it. In one view, you'll have all the activity data. In one view, you'll have the CRM data is configured, or even if you want to configure it in a different tab, that is also possible. That is also a possibility. So the bottom line is you'll have all this data configured in one place. Your agents will not lose their quality time in juggling up with the operations. They'll have good visibility of all the metrics that they need to have this conversation with. And this will definitely, even from an ROI perspective, will definitely bring down the number of interactions that you have while solving a ticket, and definitely have an impact on customer support. What do you think, Ashik? Anything else you want to add?
Yes, just to add another point here. So in this, we can pretty much see the customer support agent is in the center of all the information from, say, the help desk, the call center, and also the CRM. So the agent gets the right amount of context in the right time during the right interaction, which helps them deliver really excellent support experience at the end of the day. So instead of having 3 different tools that are barely integratable, so the Freshdesk Ameyo integration brings in multiple such perks for the agent and many such perks in terms of customer experience as a company. So moving to the next slide, this will show you the ideal channels of how ideal way the integration has happened and what are the different channels that are integrated seamlessly in the Freshdesk and Ameyo integration. So here we have the reporting. So Freshdesk, just for some more context, Freshdesk helps support agents manage their emails, calls, and social channels by itself. So it's a tool that helps the support streamline and manage their support queries in a much more organized way. And with the integration with Ameyo, it brings in a powerful call center within Freshdesk. So the integration is so seamless that you have a tiny Ameyo window right within Freshdesk. So that can we move to the next screen? So here, yeah, like how it is shown in the screen, there's a tiny view of Ameyo call center right inside the Freshdesk tool, so that your agents need not juggle or keep alt-tabbing between different tools. So every context is right there in one place. Your agents are much more productive since they are getting all the context in one place and streamlining all customer conversations. And none of the calls are being missed since everything is in the same window. So I had earlier said there is a point that I would like to quote about call routing. So in the example that I had mentioned earlier, I was transferred to multiple agents to resolve the refund issue that I was talking about. And instead of when we have an IVR, it is what are the odds that we as a customer try to reach support and reach the right agent. So we also have an intelligent call routing mechanism with this integration coming in, so that the right tickets are assigned to the right agents. That is something that is it takes your customer agent productivity into a whole new different level. Next slide.
Yeah. Ashik, I just want to spend a few seconds here on this slide and talk about more from Ameyo Toolbar's point of view, what all things that you can do as you log in. You can configure auto call on or off in Ameyo. Depends on your business process. You want every call to be picked, or you want agent to be wait and pick the call. So these are call center terminologies that I'm using. I hope you guys will be able to connect with this. So that is one thing that you can do with the toolbar. The toolbar will also show you, show an agent like how many calls he has handled, what time he has spent on those calls, giving a little bit of KPI metrics from a call center point of view, like average handling time, average talk time, right? Average after call work, like once he wraps up the call. Second is you can configure available break, usual call center agent options in the toolbar. Toolbar is flexible enough. You can move it around wherever you want to fit in as per your intuitive view you want to have of the Freshdesk. That is second. And I'll also talk about more on the routing piece here. So we also help you cover use cases like, let's say you go into an IVR and then let's say press 8 is call to an agent, then the routing starts. But let's say you want to start the routing from the IVR input itself. Give you an example. We have, let's say it's a food company, it's a food ordering company, right? So you call them up, and the IVR press 1, press 2 says, if you want to know the information about your ticket, please tell me your ticket ID, right? So if you enter the ticket ID, you will directly route it to the right agent. You don't have to go and traverse the whole IVR. So that capability is also available with the routing mechanism that Ameyo provides, apart from the usual first in, first out skill-based routing. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. So Ashik, over to you, talking about the context.
Yeah, so we earlier spoke about how the customers or the agent can have the right amount of context at the right time. So in this screen, if you can see, the email tickets are on the left, and we have all the customer information, the ticket information onto the right. So we have ticket properties that says the location the customer is from, and the status of the tickets, the priority, and which team is it assigned to, what is the issue about, everything in the middle column. And on the extreme right, we have the contact details, which has every previous tickets of that particular customer. And there are also provisions where we notify the agents with the number of escalations that had happened with the same customer. So if the agent has this amount of context while interacting to a customer, it always comes in handy to gauge the pulse of the customer before getting into a conversation with them. So here it enables agents to collaborate with context and automate, engage in very contextual conversation with customers. And yes, Freshdesk is so powerful that it helps agents automate most of their tasks, any repetitive task that a support agent does can be automated with Freshdesk, at least most of them. Can we move to the next slide?
Oh, I think
yes.
I think Saisa, we missed one slide. Can we come to the previous slide?
Yeah.
Sure, Gaurav.
Okay, so I just come to like the previous slide before this one. I just want to talk a few things about because we got some questions from the audience in terms of the call centers. I just wanted to cover those things. So when the Ameyo integration sits in with Freshdesk, I just want to run through some use cases that you guys might find useful for your business. Examples like when a call comes in, you'll be easily able to attach the call to a Freshdesk object, that is a ticketing object, right? It can also help you solve redundancies. Let's say for one number, if there are multiple people configured, right? So you can actually have a drop down and select which one you want to attach the ticket with. That capability is provided. Second, let's say your call, as soon as you finish your call dispositions, your call activity, or your notes, everything will be logged into the Freshdesk activity thread, which Ashik just showed in the previous slide, right? And
support agent, when all the call transcripts and all the call information, call notes that are made on Ameyo will be seamlessly integrated to Freshdesk. And when the agent revisits the ticket, any agent revisits the ticket, they would be able to find all the information under one place. So
right.
That is how deep the integrations are, which brings all the context an agent needs to deliver an amazing customer experience.
You will be able to log the call recordings as well, right? And in terms of from a pure calling capability, if you want to do inbound or outbound, you want to use dialer capabilities that are also available with Ameyo. Maybe you want to transfer reminders to your customers, if that is possible. Other than this, I think on this we are done from my end. We can move forward. If you have some questions, we can take them in the end.
Yes. So just in a nutshell, I just want to conclude by saying contextual interactions are really important for a good customer experience, and good customer experience is a must for good businesses. So I think we all will agree about how context, in spite of offering multi-channel support, how context plays an important role in delivering a support that is maybe good today to great tomorrow. So I would like to take questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashik and Gaurav. We will go ahead and take some time for questions now. Just a reminder to all the attendees, please be sure to type your questions into the question box in your control panel. So it looks like we have a question from Sumi Jaiswal. So the question is how to structure the call center solution while giving full visibility to customer service team.
All right. So I'll take that up. So I think over the last 15-20 minutes we've been talking about how context is important, and now we have a question of how to give the transparency to customer support agents while setting up a call center solution. So apparently, when all the tools or all the channels are integrated, when you say the email help desk, ticketing help desk, and your call center software, if it depends on how deeply they're integrated, that they're able to share information across the two tools, which eventually brings in the transparency. In other words, I wouldn't call it transparency, I would call it context here again. So it's about picking the right tools for your business and checking the capabilities of how tight the integrations are, so that the information passes through seamlessly, so that the agents are kept visible across the customer journey. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you, Ashik. Do you want to add anything, Gaurav?
I think, Sumi, as Ashik pointed out, it depends on the tools. So I believe that you would be having a CRM or maybe a ticketing tool. If a ticketing tool is in place, I believe you might be able to preserve context. But if it's a well-defined CRM, then also I believe, as Ashik rightly pointed out, how deep the integration is, your users or your agents will be able to get all that data in their view. If not, then again, it's the tools that you have to work on with. You'll probably be needing call centers.
Just another point I would like to add, since the question is about bringing transparency to the agents. So I am pretty sure that having your team sit separately, as in your chat team, your call team, and your email team sitting separately using different tools, I think that is the first challenge that we need to sort out to bring the transparency. Your agents has to probably use the right tools so that it provides context, and the support as an organization should also enable agents to take up multiple channels. I'm not on a regular basis, but at least a rotation policy of sorts would be really helpful for the agents to upskill and cross-skill among themselves on the longer run as well, so that your agents are also not limited or tied to a certain channel on the long run.
Okay. So we have. Okay. Yeah, please go ahead, Gaurav.
So I was just saying, Sumi, I would probably need more context on this. So if you want to write or leave a message, Shaista will probably email you my email ID, and I can provide you a better alternative or solution to it. But we can right now we can move on to the next question.
Okay. So I have another question from Iftikhar. He's asking, can we automate a solution after a particular status? And more is like a note to be sent automatically to the customer after a particular time if an agent do not respond to his call.
All right. So I believe this Mr. Iftikhar is using Freshdesk. If not, I would recommend them to. And so here there is an automation that can be triggered, and in case of there is no agent response, a customer note has to be added. Just correct me if I'm wrong, Shaista.
Yeah. And can a note be sent to the customer if in case an agent do not answer his call?
All right. Okay. So this question, I think Gaurav should be able to take it, since it is regarding call. And
so I think so by my guess is, as Ashik said, you're using Freshdesk. So maybe there'll be a trigger to it. But what you're asking, what I believe is, you want, if there is a note standardized template, like some configured note templates, which should be triggered when a call is missed, a customer is not able to take the call. So I believe there should be some trigger if you're using Freshdesk from Freshdesk.
Yes. There is an automation where an email can be triggered to a customer if their calls are not being answered.
Yes,
it is possible.
Yes, Iftikhar, I got a reply from him. He is using Freshdesk.
Yes. So yeah, it is an automation that needs to be set up. So we can probably share the solution article with Iftikhar offline. Okay. It's just a simple 3-step process that would enable him to set this up. Shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So I have another question from Sridevi, which is directly for the Gaurav. So the question is, they are already using Freshdesk, but how Ameyo will add to other tools?
So they're using Freshdesk, and do they have a call center solution in place? If she can give me more clarity on this.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
So, so I believe, Sridevi, your business is mostly driven through email-driven help desk queries, right? And I feel that you won't be having a lot of call volume. That is one of the reasons you have not taken a call center solution by now. And if you have, she has not?
So they are driving the business through emails only. She's
okay. So I'm saying, if you don't have a lot of calls right now, you can still continue with the PBX. If the business is mostly driven via email, but if you are in the process of growing as an organization, Thus calls will certainly start coming in, and they'll be coming in huge numbers. So I suggest you should have a call center in place as soon as you see your call volume increasing, because at certain threshold, the TDF will not be able to handle calls. And once the call and email and the social media capability with the Freshdesk that we are using, the voice will definitely complement it.
So Gaurav, sorry to interrupt you. The another reply which I got from Sridevi, she's saying that they have the call volumes of approx 60 calls in a day. Okay.
60 calls in a day will be, it's okay. I think that you will be able to handle it as of now, not a problem. But if the call volume increases, then you might want to go with a cloud-based call center solution. You can take Ameyo or any other vendor, but this is a webinar from Ameyo Freshdesk, so I'll suggest you go with Ameyo. As I mentioned, in terms of the context preservation, you will have everything. All call recordings will be there. All activity data will be there. You want to pull out reports on what your agents are doing, how many calls they have made, how many calls got connected, what is the reporting on those calls, how are your agents behaving in terms of what is the average talk time an agent is spending in. So you will be able to monitor also very closely in terms, apart from giving extra context and you giving the voice capability integrated into Freshdesk. So that is where Ameyo will help you out. And one more thing I would like to ask is, if you're a growing organization, obviously you'll be trying to get more business. So you can also use the dialer capability separately to drive in more leads for your business. So that is the second way where you can help them.
Yeah, just to add on Gaurav's point, since the call volume is 60, so any business that is progressive or in a growing phase has to make their technology future ready. So I would second Gaurav's opinion on going for a cloud telephony call center. And also would recommend, since you may also have a website and are looking to grow your lead.
Okay. So we'll take one more question from Sridevi. She's saying that apart from calls, how Ameyo will help in growing their business.
I think I answered that second question, Ami, that if you want to use our dialer capability, you want to get in more leads coming in for your business, we'll definitely give you high connect rates so that your agents can have qualified conversation and sell your products and services. Number one. In terms of support, you get more context. With your existing customers, you have a good support base. You have a good experience that is running with your customers. So definitely improve your brand loyalty and your word of mouth for your brand. Number two. Number three, I think I have these two things as of now in terms of helping with your top line and support costs. If anything more, you can please drop in an email. I'll give you more options.
Yeah, Sridevi, you already have my email ID. I'll also share Gaurav's and Ashik's email with you. So if you have any more questions, we can reply back on the email. Okay, so I have few more questions from Priyank, sorry. So the question is, this is for Ashik, is single sign-on available here when agent logs into Freshdesk and log into Freshdesk automatically? And can I view all the call parameters in Freshdesk?
All right. Okay. So to answer your first question, yes, there is a single sign-on available for all the agents of the organizations to log into Freshdesk. So we made this mandatory in certain because certain organizations wanted this mandatory, and even we since we try and test our own products in-house before even getting them out, we eat our own dog food. So we have also made it mandatory for our own agents and employees to use Freshdesk using a single sign-on. So yes, it is available. And what's the next question, Shaista?
And the another question is, I came to know click-to-call functionality is available in Freshdesk Freshworks. I'm planning to subscribe to Freshdesk for our service ticketing process. Okay.
Awesome. That's great news. That's great news. Thank you.
Okay. So I guess we are already done with all the questions. We have covered almost all our questions, and I could see it's 4:05. Well, so we are good to go for now. Thank you, everyone. It was pleasure being with you today.
Thank you for being a great audience, and thank you, Shaista and Gaurav, for presenting this and hosting this in a great way. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ashik. Thank you, Shaista. And thank you to all the audience who took the time to attend this webinar. I am hopeful that you guys got to learn something and add up new things to your process from an improvement perspective. Please be tuned for more webinars in the future from Ameyo. Signing off. Thank you guys. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ashik. Thank you, Gaurav. And thank you, all of you, again for joining us today. We will see you all again soon in December. Thank you. Hope you all had a great session. Thank you.